close your eyes, sit high and tall. And before you become still, move around. So that any tension you might be holding around neck or shoulders, spine or hips, you become aware of it. Tension we hold in our body is a manifestation of our mental tension. Anything that's resisting what is this moment, anything that's assumptions and judgment and assumptions and expectations, all of that is a contraction in our body because we're resisting. We're resisting the flow of this moment. So what we're doing here is we're gesturing and we're exploring and we're arriving. We're making a conscious choice of truly being with what is, with everything this moment holds. So slowly find stillness in your body. Whatever else is there, acknowledge it and accept it for what it is. With our eyes closed, we turn our inner gaze upwards, gazing into the space between your eyebrows. Find a sense of lightness around your eyebrows, a sense of lightness in your forehead, a sense of lightness or a sense of a smile in your eyes, your cheeks. And continue to soften into this here and now. Become deeply curious, maybe listening to sounds that surround you. Be curious towards the world in your head, the world in your heart, the world within you, the physical world, the emotional world. Become deeply curious. Meander your awareness from one layer, one facet to the other. Every time a judgment arises, a good or bad or right or wrong, I want this, I don't want that. Notice that too and embrace it in breath. Give it a deep inhalation and then exhaling that judgment out. Whenever you need to, come to this conscious deep breath and simply exhaling it all out. A lot of people I work with on meditation say, I can't meditate, I can't get my mind to be still. That's like wanting your heart to stop beating. This is about creating space around it and shifting our attention away from content into the spaces between thoughts, into that which is spacious and still. And this is where we ground ourselves, ground our attention and ground our awareness. We soften our lips and tongues, the insides of our mouth, our jaws, our neck, our throat, our collarbones, our shoulder blades. We soften into this moment. We let this moment hold us. We let this moment guide us. We slowly flicker our eyes open. And then with our hands on our knees, just gently moving forwards and back or side to side. Be very intuitive. Let your body and let this moment guide you. Shifting forwards and back. Feel the sensations in your hips. As you come forwards next time, gently folding into the space between your knees. Let your head drop. Let your heart drop. Let your shoulder blades slide apart without them sliding up to ears, but widen into earth. Relax your toes, your feet, your knees. Gently shift and move if you like. Give your body permission to find its most helpful, its most natural alignment. And then chin to chest coming up to sit. Placing hands onto knees. Let's lift our knees up. And let's see if we can rise our arms up. And now check in how effortlessly can you be here. As you come into a more challenging pose, can you still find ease? Can you still find your breath deep down in your navel and find that space within you that is silent, that is spacious, that is greater and bigger than any challenge? And let's uncross our feet, cross them the other way. Simply bring them down, hands cupping onto knees, moving forwards and back. And I invite you to go a little deeper into spine. So as you move, see if you can roll your shoulders a little more. Arch and round your spine a little more. If you feel like closing your eyes at any point, because that allows you to really feel yourself from within, you're welcome to. Make it yours, your practice. Make it what you need right now, this moment. And we'll fold forwards again. We'll drop our arms to wherever they land. We give our spine, our body permission to melt into mat, sinking into earth, playing and breathing with gravity. Any resistance in the hips, breathe through it, make space. Bring your chin to chest and then reach your arms out to the sides as you come up. Oh, time for the first layer to go. And then arms out to the sides. As we inhale, we reach our arms up. As we exhale, let's slide our shoulder blades and ribs down. And as we inhale, can you possibly grow a little taller? So check in, you all the way on the tips of your sit bones, growing tall. And let us exhale our hands through the sides and down. Let us inhale the arms back up, big movement. Exhale, sliding shoulders and ribs down. And as you inhale, you lift pelvic floor and navel up and in, rising into your crown. On your next exhalation, hands back down. We inhale again, biggest movement, arms up. Exhaling, softening, inhale, growing a little taller. Exhale, right hand down, sliding it over to the side, and keep your body stacked, so shoulders and hips are stacked and lean. Keep your left sit bone grounded deeply. Then gently draw your left elbow to outer right knee and round your lower back, round your upper back. Breathe into the lower back ribs. See if you can really make space there. Really making space. And as we inhale, we stride our left hand up to seating. We turn our gaze to left hand. If you need to shift around to make space, welcome to do so. Another inhalation here. Exhale, elbow to outer knee, round, lift through navel and pelvic floor. And inhale to rise the hand up, and we come up through our hand back to center. Exhaling, shoulders and ribs down. Inhale, growing tall. Exhale, hand down. Releasing the shoulders, moving over to the side. Keep grounding your right sit bone into earth and simply explore that length through your side body. Then exhaling, right elbow draws to outer left knee. Round your spine. Open back body. Maybe already a little more space here. As we inhale, we stride our hand upwards. Roll both shoulders down. Both shoulder blades to hips, looking at top hand, really turning gaze. Another inhalation here as you exhale. Elbow to outer knee. Lift your navel, lift your pelvic floor, round your body. And inhale, hand up. Lifting through our hand, coming up to seated. And exhale, our hands through the sides and down. Feel your shoulder blades move on your back body. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, soften shoulders down. Inhale, growing a little taller. Exhale, twisting left. Hands come down. Gently twist. Your back hand may be flat if that works for you. Slide your shoulder blades down. Lift your collarbones. Lift your heart. Look over front shoulder. So turn your gaze to look over right shoulder. Lean your head back and then turn your gaze mindfully to look over back shoulder. Notice where there's tension and breathe space into it. We inhale our way back to center, arms up. We exhale, soften shoulders, soften ribs. With the longest length, we twist the other way, bringing our hands down, softening shoulders, looking over back shoulder, far, far, far. From the tip of your nose, looking over front shoulder, far, turning. And then back shoulder again, deepening. On our next inhale, coming to center, rising arms up. And exhale, twist, just dipping fingers. Inhale, center, dynamic twist. Exhale, twist. Inhale, Center, as if you could make your sit bones lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. In your own pace, in your own perfect way, find where you need a bit of opening, a bit of movement, a bit of attention. And then once we're evened out, we find center. We reach our arms up and we exhale our hands down onto shins, bring them a little closer and roll onto hands and knees. So we'll have our hands under shoulders, our knees under hips, the toes are pointing away, shins parallel, spreading fingers as you inhale, you arch, you reach, and as you exhale, you round it out. Shifting forwards and back, add some weight into wrists, into hands. As you inhale, you arch again, hugging your elbows into hips, point them to back corners of the mat. Lift your heart, lift your sit bones. And exhale to round again. Round it out, broaden into the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round. Inhale to arch. One more time, rounding deep and juicy. Finding neutral spine. And all we'll do is walk our hands forwards. We keep our hips exactly where they're at, above the knees. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, bring them further forwards and then rest your elbows down. Externally rotating your upper arms so your shoulder blades slide apart. Forehead onto mat or mouth and chin. And sink your sternum down to earth. Spread your fingers out wide. Ground your pinky fingers hard into mat. Take your feet, relax them into earth. Notice all tension you might be holding around the shoulders and soften. Soften all tension, soften into armpits. Soften your sternum and heart down into mat. Breathe and feel and journey and soften. Exploring who are you when you're not holding on. How does life feel when you're not resisting anything? To come out, we slide our sit bones to heels and we pause for a moment. If you like, bring your hands back in line with feet. And if you like, interlock your hands behind your tailbone, maybe reaching hands away from shoulders. And if you want, you roll onto the crown of your head and reach your arms up and over. Another beautiful shoulder opener. Gently shift and move, roll circles, rounding spine, massaging the crown of your head at the same time. Especially if that head is very busy, this can be very helpful. Just squeezing it a bit. Release your sit bones back down, release your hands back down. Notice the sensations. Simply observe all the subtle layers of this moment. Bring your chin into chest, round yourself up to sit on heels. And we'll roll over our fingertips, bring our hands down onto earth. Roll our shoulders back, bring our elbows in towards one another. And open our sternum, maybe opening throat, keeping your neck long. If you want, you press your knees into mat and extend your tailbone away, gently stretching wrists. Longest line from neck into tailbone, so your hip flexors are opening. Gently stretching wrists, making space, every breath a little more. Challenge yourself. And bringing hips back down. Slowly finding your hands at the front of your mat. Maybe move a little before you come up into plank. Your heels pressing back, the crown of your head reaching forwards. Look just in front of your mat and hug your elbows in. Ground the index finger base. If your knees need to be on the mat today to support you, they may absolutely be on the mat. Make it yours. Extend your tailbone. Feel as if there's bungees between your lower ribs and your front hip bones. Keep sliding your shoulder blades away from ears. Find ease here. Put a smile in your eyes, smile in your lips. Find ease as you continue to breathe. Let's have another inhalation here. And exhale, find your way into down dog.
Release your heels down into earth. I quite like walking my down dog here, just lifting one heel at a time, gently rolling over the toes and simply move around. Find your hips, and maybe lifting the sit bones really high as you lift your heels high. As you bend your knees, hug your elbows and looking forwards, feel your hands press forward. Long spine, long spine. Feel that softening and opening around your shoulders. And then release your heels down again. Feel your weight pressing into heels. Hands nice and light, just grounding into earth. And we'll bend our knees again, lifting our heels high, looking forward. And in one flowing movement, left foot lands between hands. Fingertips alongside the heels. Just gently lift and lower. Straighten and bend, left leg dropping hips. Opening up. Maybe you shift left and right. Simply notice, making space. And then right knee comes down onto earth. Right toes point back. Swaying left and right. Loosening out the hip joints. Going deep. Guide your breath all the way into tailbone, into pelvic floor. Lower navel. Can we maybe do this forwards, backwards flow here? As we gently shift and lengthen and release. Maybe the toes draw towards your face and see what that feels like. Sometimes it's quite nice to just grab and massage whatever muscles are a bit tense. And then coming forwards, knee above heel. Bring our hands onto knee, stack ourselves up, check in, right hip rolling forwards, left hip back, navel lifted high. So you don't want to collapse in your lower back, you want to really hollow out your navel up and in and then sink into hip flexors rather. And then from here, reach your right arm up, lengthen it up, left hand onto knee for a bit of support. See if you can sink and drop a little deeper. Lifting heart, reaching through right fingertips. And then slowly bring your right elbow over your outer left knee. Now you may stay here, or you may bring your hands together to come into a twist. Keep softening your hips down towards earth. Keep softening your hips. Keep reaching. Slide your shoulder blades down, lift your heart, expand and reach. And then from here, we find our way back to center. Let's lift our hands up. Gently lifting up, we bring our hands back down to heart. Let's bring our left elbow to inner left knee, and we press our elbow into knee. Can we bring our right hand onto right hip bone and open the right hip back? And you might need your elbow here for support. You might be able to bring your fingertips to inner big toe, leaning into knee to open the hips out wide. And breathe and soften. Remember to relax your shoulder blades. And remember to keep rising through your center. So nice and long and strong through your spine as you open up. You can even bring your right hand back if you feel like your hip now understands what it needs to do. And let's bring our right hand down onto earth. Left hand moves to outer left heel. Right toes tuck under, right knee lifts. Hands ground flat. Preparing for down dog, and left leg shifts back up into three-legged down dog. Reaching the heel, dropping right heel. And simply be here. No moving, no nothing. Just be. Sense and breathe and soften and center. Another inhalation, and then we roll onto right toes. Draw our left knee into chest, coming forward. Point your tailbone down, round your entire spine, lift your knee, lift your shin. Have lots of space between earth and mat, earth and body. And then reach it back into three-legged downward facing dog. So left foot flexes, right foot drops, gently looking forwards, chest open, heart open. How much more space can you make? And then rolling onto right toes again, left knee into chest, hugging it in, stepping left foot to land between hands, stacking hands onto knee, Finding your alignment, finding your feet, dropping back heel low. If you need to bend your back knee for a moment, you can. Rising up. And inhale to lengthen, exhale to soften shoulders. And how about we drop our back knee down onto mat, or maybe to hover over the mat, and check into feet. Where's the weight in your feet? Big toe base, pinky toe base, heel. And then we'll find our way back up. Right heel reaches back, left knee reaches forward. Navel up and in, consciously using your breath. So inhaling through your center, exhaling continuously through your periphery. Let go of all tension you don't need to hold on to. Reaching up, inhale here, and as you exhale, you move forward. Big movement, reach forward. Feel the space move through your fingertips, or your fingertips moving through space. Hands ground, fingers spread wide, left foot back, three-legged downward facing dog, left leg down onto earth, and soften out. You might want to stay here or rest in child's pose. You might want to come into plank and move through chaturanga or whichever flow feels true for you right now. So tailbone down, navel up and in. Don't forget to open your heart wherever you're at. Find your way back into down dog. And again, maybe you stay, or you're still in child's pose, or you might come through this one more time. Plank, really consciously choosing what you're doing. Not from the mind, let your body guide you. And finding our way back into down dog. This is where we meet now. From down dog, we lift both heels, we bend both knees, we look forward, we lift our navel up and in. And we find our right leg stepping between our hands. Left knee, let's stay here. And just straighten and bend right leg a couple of times. So knee above heel, hips soften, shifting hips back. Notice where there's resistance. If you want to add a bit of a shift, left and right. Remember, we're not 2 or 3 dimensional. There's so many facets to our bodies. Every muscle intricately connected. Bring your left knee down, point your left toes back. Fingertips light in line with heel. And let's do that here with our knee down. Point your tailbone away. So it's as if you wanted to arch your lower back. Maybe bring one hand on your sacrum and then pull your sacrum forward, so you're lifting your sit bones up. See if that changes anything in the back leg. Drawing your toes towards your face if that works for you. And as you make space, I don't know, for me it creates quite a bit of energy and heat, working with core and working with hips. Notice those aspects too. Knee above heel, hands onto knee. We push ourselves gently away from knee. We draw our right hip back, left hip forward, and then left arm reaches up to sky. From here, we soften our shoulders down, always softening through periphery, lengthening through our center. We might be able to sink a little deeper into those left hip flexors. So your strong legs are pulling in, in competition with your core muscles. So work into that, Soften into what's tight and contract into what's soft. And then bring your elbow to outer knee. And then maybe you stay here with your hand on your thigh, or you might be able to stack your hands and twist a little deeper. And notice, are you holding on in your hips? And make sure your right knee doesn't come inwards, but keep resisting the elbow. Keep making space, not collapsing, heart wide and open, really twisting, softening left hip flexors, exploring this pose. We're never there. There's never a perfect pose. Exploring it. Let's come to center. Reach our arms up. And then we bring our right elbow to inner right knee. Now this might be enough. Maybe left hand onto left hip as you open your left hip a little more. Now you might need the elbow here for support, or your fingertips in line with big toe. Roll your shoulder blades down, open your heart wide, don't forget. Continue to breathe yourself long from pelvic floor into crown, and then soften through your periphery. No matter what comes your way, there's a space in you that's more spacious, more deep and strong than any sensation, any situation, any emotion, any thought. Stay with it. Be with it. Breathe into it. Focus your attention on what's spacious. And your left hand comes down. Let's bring our right hand to outer right foot. Fingertips light. Shift it back, just to release. Coming forwards, we tuck our left toes under, find our left foot. Hands stack onto knee. Build your pose from your feet up. So consciously grounding, lifting and lowering, consciously aligning, rising up from here. Exhale to soften through your periphery. Maybe bending back knee onto mat or to hover above the mat. Notice how the shoulders want to help. At least I feel that. They come up and they're like, yeah, we got this. I have to continue to tell them, no, it's fine. You can relax. It's the legs who need to work, not you. And then lengthen out, drop your back heel, sit a little lower. A big gesture of celebration as you gently open your arms and spread your fingers. And notice what it feels like for you to really claim space. Another inhalation here, exhale, hands onto earth. Spreading fingers, grounding hands, right foot reaches into three-legged downward facing dog, and simply notice, observe, feel. Continue to shift your weight to feet. Continue to rise your right heel up. Now slowly look forwards, roll onto left toes, bring your right knee in, round your spine. Round yourself away from earth, round it out. And then reach your leg back up. Expanding it up, reaching it up. A little higher. One more time, we come forwards, we round. We draw our knee up, we draw our foot up, we relax our shoulders, and we reach it back, rising leg up. Inhale here and exhaling leg down. This time your knees narrow, bring them down onto earth, bring your sit bones onto heels, bring your forehead onto earth, and release your hands out to the sides. And soften. Coming inwards again, resetting. There was a lot of outward movement. Now we soften inwards. Relax and breathe into lower back. Notice the sensations throughout your legs. Bring your chin to chest, roll yourself up to sit. Roll your shoulders back. What? Coming onto hands and knees, finding your plank. Plank becomes down dog. From down dog, bend your knees, look forward, and let's step the feet a little wider and walk our hands to feet to come to squats. From your squat, gently roll around and move around. Open your knees out to the sides. Let's bring our elbows to inner knees, bring our hands together. And lengthen up tall. Shift your sit bones back, open your heart. And let's bring our palms up and reach our thumbs outwards. So opening palms and opening knees, opening legs, opening heart. Continue to slide your shoulder blades down and continue to squeeze into glutes to open knees even wider. And now we keep the knees as wide. We bring our hands forward. We come to inner knees. You know what? We might need to just turn on the mat. So your knees nice and wide. Make sure you have your knees on something soft. And then take a look over your shoulders. Your shins are parallel and your feet as if you were standing on them, flexed. And then check again, your hips are in alignment with your knees. Okay. And then you might stay on your hands, or you might come onto elbows. And I invite you to gently move forwards and back. And whenever you feel like, oh, maybe my knees could now move a little further apart, let them move a little further apart. And as you explore and as you move, as you Round and arch your spine. Notice what's alive in your hips. Notice where it's challenging. Notice what arises for you. Whether you feel like grinding teeth. Notice emotions that might arise in connection to those sensations. Isn't that intriguing? How something shifts in our body and our emotional landscape shifts with. Continue to breathe into what's spacious. Continue to notice that all these things arise pretty much randomly, and that it doesn't mean that it's real or true, but we learn to witness and make space around these things that arise, making space to disidentify. And then slowly come back onto hands and see if the knees might be able to shift a little further apart. Can we shift our hips forwards and back? And then we'll bring our big toes towards one another and see if you can walk your hands into space between knees. You might need to bring them a little closer. See if you can sit into the space between your heels. Hands rest on knees and just gently tilting pelvis forwards and back. Tilting, rolling from left to right, grounding sit bones into earth. And noticing where the boundaries are. See if you can really surrender into this sense of vulnerability almost. And then from here we'll bring our hands forwards again. We realign ourselves with our mat. Hands at the beginning, at the front of our mat, fingers spreading wide. And let's tuck our toes and simply move up into down dog. Reaching hips back. A gentle down dog. Feel and explore. Move into your hips. And then lifting both heels, bending both knees, looking forwards. We step our left foot to land between hands. And in one flow, acknowledging that it's all one movement, we slowly come up and we find a bit of space here. And then left hand onto knee, open right heel back. Use your left hand to open your knee out to the side. Use your right hand to open right thigh out to the side. Maybe reminding navel to be strong so that your lower back can be really broad. Arms out to the sides. Beautiful. And now, let's reach into right hand and lift our left hand upwards, spreading fingers. Peek down at left knee for a moment. Keep it above the heel. And reach a little further into right hand and rest your right hand onto space. Lift your left hand high, go a little deeper. And let's bring our right hand down, sliding it down, maybe reaching left hand a little further back, sitting deeper into left knee. Grounding through both pinky toes. We slowly come out. Let your right hand rest where it is. Roll your right shoulder back. Roll your right rib cage open. Left elbow onto left knee. Can we bring our left thigh parallel to earth? Can we lift and lower our hips here? How about that? Lift and lower. Keep your right pinky toe side grounded. And move in your own range of movement. And you might find your left hand being able to come onto mat. And if not, stay where you're at. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips. Now can we straighten our left leg again? Can we rise our right arm up? Can we open ourselves up into this deep, deep, deep Trikonasana and adjust however you need? Stack your shoulders. Imagine yourself leaning into a wall. Everything's stacked. Now turn your right palm back, bring your right hand towards hips and rest your right hand onto outer left hip. See if you can open your right shoulder a little more. We bend our left knee, we find our way back up. Keep your right hand striving forward. So bring your left hand to right, draw your right hand forward. See if that hand can either grab pants, it might be able to grab your thigh. Sitting deep into it. And the left arm expands back and away. Pretzeling ourselves up a bit. And let's undo this and simply move into warrior two. Looking along your left hand, turn your gaze to left middle finger. Sitting deep, push your hands down into earth. Lift your navel. Right hand rolls past the right hip. Roll onto right toes. Lengthen up, lean into right hip flexors. One more time, using glutes and belly to be strong. Hands come down. And grounding hands, foot comes back, leg lifts up. Open left knee up to sky. Keep your chest level. Keep your right knee pointing to right hand. Circle your right ankle and lift the right knee a little bit higher. And stepping it down. Maybe staying, maybe flowing through a vinyasa of your choice. See if you can let the vinyasa flow through you rather than you flowing through it. We find our down dog again. When you're ready, we bend both knees looking forwards. Right foot lands between hands. Lengthen up, find your stance, slowly coming up. Lining our hips, rising our arms up, softening our back heel down. We're going to turn around. Softening down and then flowing open into warrior two. Use your right hand on inner right side. So really grab it and lift it. Externally rotate it. Outer left side, rotate it. Go deep into your front knee, as deep as you like, as deep as you can. Arms out to the sides. No wrong, no right. Turn your gaze to right hand. Open a little deeper. Now start reaching back. Left hand as if it's pressing into space. Right hand comes up. Palm turns to the side. Reaching hard. Point your tailbone. Lift your navel. Reach towards back foot. Reach. We're spreading ourselves out. See if you can fill the space you're in. Keep shifting front knee forwards. Left hand comes down. Reach it back. No compression in lower back. Really breathe into your lower spine to make space. Expand. And then coming through center. Let your left hand just rest there. Reaching forwards. Right elbow can support you on your knee. Or maybe you can shift a bit. Open the knee. Check down. Your shoulders stacking. Your hips are stacking. You might find your right hand on inner foot. Leaning into knee. Yes, good. Wiggle your toes. Nothing holds on. Nothing resists. Lean into yourself. And you might be able to stretch out your right leg. Maybe just a little, maybe all the way. Now check in. You might need to come onto fingertips or stay on your flat hand. Roll your right shoulder forwards. Roll your left shoulder back. Open your thighs apart and enjoy. Enjoy the challenge. Enjoy each breath. Enjoy being alive. Beautiful. Turn your top palm back. Bring your hand past your lower back to outer right side. Maybe you can grab it or it just rests there. Stacking shoulders, bending front knee. Make sure your left foot is grounded nicely and coming up. Now grab your back hand. Slide your shoulders down. Slide your ribs down. And the hand might grab the thigh, but it doesn't have to. And the right arm reaches up and back as we continue to open our right leg outwards. As we continue to slide our shoulders down and open our heart wide. Fierce and courageous. Breathing hard, huffing, puffing, but we got this. Coming through center, warrior two. Gazing along your right middle finger, settling deeper. Swiveling, no, let's bring our left hand past our hip, roll onto left toes first. Lengthen and align, and then exhale, hands down onto earth. Right leg back, three-legged downward facing dog. Bending the knee, opening the hip wide. Gently moving, opening. Inhale, you exhale, leg down. Knees wide. Big toes touch, or you can actually bring your feet apart. If you want to sit your pelvic floor, sit your inner thighs to the space between your heels. And then folding forward, open your knees wide.
pointing your pubic bone away and sinking into the space between your knees. Soften into earth. Enjoy that deep surrender. Enjoy your mat holding you. Enjoy every bit of inhalation, every bit of exhalation. Let yourself fill up with every inhale and soften with every exhale. Let your heart dance. Let this moment be. Gently lift your head, walk your hands and sit yourself up. Pausing for a moment if you like. Swaying hips forwards and back, rolling them forwards and back, finding a little more space. And then in your own perfect way, come to seated. So maybe just the feet coming forwards. However you get here. Stretch your left leg out. Bring your right foot to inner left thigh. Ground your right knee down to earth. Opening it out down to earth. And then lean towards your left leg. Now, keep both sit bones grounded. See if you can bring your sit bones and your leg into a 90-degree angle. So both sit bones are grounded, and then your heart, your spine aligns with your left leg as you guide yourself towards this length. But it's a strong pelvis tilting forwards. It's a strong right hip forwards, left hip back. And it's a deep lengthening from the pelvis. And then eventually you find that extension, you find that expansion. Wherever there's tension, breathe space into it. And let's come up. And let's just open our knees a little wider if we can. And then sliding left hand towards the foot. So now we're allowed to open the right side up. So if you want to hook your left big toe, maybe you could do that. If there's more space, you can bring your left elbow to inner left knee, and then using the leg as a bit of a lever to stack your shoulders. And if there's space, rise your right arm up, spread your fingers wide. Keep sliding your shoulder blades down, and then see if you can open your arm a little wider. Maybe looking up at hand. Every inhalation, spaciousness. With every exhale, you see if you can go a little deeper. Expanding, opening. And explore. Really experience. Another inhalation. As you exhale, you might be able to go further. And then you come back up. Lifting up. Center yourself out. Both sit bones on earth. Left hand comes onto outer right thigh, and we twist towards the right. So right hand might land on mat behind you. For some of us, it can come around and grab the left thigh. So check into left leg. It tends to just be forgotten and fall asleep. Keep your foot active and gently twist. Every inhalation, grow tall. That is quite a challenge here, I find. With every exhale, relax shoulders, ribs. Every inhale, growing tall. And notice how everything's connected, how contracting left leg gives you length. And then we release. We lift our knee, we stretch our legs out, and we literally release in your own perfect way. A bit of a shake, a bit of a wobble, a bit of a counter twist. Let your body guide you. And when you're ready, coming up, this time the right leg is stretched out, left foot to inner thigh. And our sit bones are grounded evenly. You really want to feel them on mat. For those of us who have quite tight hamstrings, you can totally do this up against a wall and then simply have the wall force you to be upright. That might be enough. If there is more space, see if you can roll right hip back, left hip forwards, and rolling left shoulder forwards and tilting pelvis forwards, and give yourself permission to build this, to feel this. So your hips and your leg is at 90 degrees, and then your spine wants to align with your right leg, and we give it time because we're loosening our big strong muscles that tend to hold a lot of tension for some of us for a very
Soften into those. Soften. Soften and surrender. Remind yourself that we don't have to hold on to anything. My teacher used to say, anything you can lose, lose it, because you're not meant to keep it anyways. So anything you can lose is there to be lost anyway. So soften, let go, let go. Coming up, let's lengthen up. Turning towards, oh no, we open a little wider if there is more space, otherwise the foot stays exactly where it is. Now right hand reaches towards right big toe, and it lands wherever it needs on the way. If it can hook the toe, it may. Now your left hand, you can use it to open your left chest back, and for me the head always wants to hang, so I need to remind myself to open head back. If you can bring your elbow to inner shin, maybe even onto mat, you can do that, and then you can lean into that elbow, using it as a lever, and then reaching left hand up. And see if you can point your nose to left hand. You might be far from it. Just the direction, the intention. Ground your right knee towards your back knee into mat. Opening wide, continue to twist. Loosen here in the left sacrum and the side. Find space. Another inhale, exhale, see if you can deepen and unfold a little further into this. And slowly coming out. Gracefully, elegantly. Left hand comes onto mat behind you, right hand onto bent knee. This might be enough. Maybe your back hand wants to wiggle around and grab the leg or the pants. Check at your right foot, that leg is extended and really strong. Your sit bones are grounded evenly and you grow tall through your spine. This grab helps you to soften your shoulder blades down and to widen your heart as you go a little deeper into the twist. So the twist comes deep from your root. The head is the last and least important thing. Soften. Every inhalation growing a little taller. Maybe lift your gaze, lift your nose. Every exhale going a little further. And then we unravel ourselves. We bring our leg forwards. We do whatever we might need to do to soften out and loosen out. Maybe rolling shoulders, arching and rounding. And when you're ready in your own time, I'd like to invite you to open the legs wide. So simply stretching out the feet. Ground your sit bones. And again, you're absolutely welcome to do this sitting on a cushion or sitting up against a wall, if that's true for you right now. And then open your knees, shifting forwards and back, side to side, moving deeper into the inner thighs. Keep the kneecaps pointing up. And if there is more space, bring your arms forwards. But if you do hinge forwards, you hinge from the pelvis. If you notice your entire torso rounding, you rather stay here with your hands behind. So imagine you could roll your pelvic floor, your pubic bone, and then your navel onto mat. So that's sort of what it feels like moving from the pelvis. And soften into your inner thighs. Notice and soften, flex and point your feet maybe, or simply notice what might it feel like to move a little closer to right leg, or to move a little closer to left leg. What might it feel like to come up, take another breath and exhale to move deeper into it. And let us slowly come up. Let us hold behind the knees and pick them up with love and kindness. Let us align ourselves with our mat and release ourselves down onto earth. I invite you to take your time and imprint one vertebra at a time into earth. Release your hands down alongside the hips, or bring your fingertips to back head. Lift it up gently and rest it back down. Hands alongside hips, feet up towards the ceiling. Circle and point and flex your feet. Make it big movements, slow, big, conscious movements. If you like, you dip your feet overhead for a moment, or knees onto forehead. If you're good where you're at, simply stay. Make sure you're not resting on your spine, but on your shoulders, shoulder blades, and back of your head. And release your hips back down onto earth. We'll step our feet onto mat, heels aligning with hips, and then we lift from our tailbone, gently rolling our spine up and just lifting hips up to ceiling. Interlock your hands underneath if that works for you. Wiggle your shoulder blades a little closer and lift your hips. Lift your heart open wide. See what it feels like to squeeze knees inwards or outwards. Expand and then release back down onto mat. I invite you to find your child's pose. Find your Shavasana. So see if there's anything else you need on the way. Or maybe you can just stretch out your legs, wiggle and shift, let your spine be really long. So when I go into Shavasana, I usually start with a bit of a rounding to really open the lower back into mat, because I have a tendency to arch a lot there. And then I extend out. It can even be nice to have cushions under your knees to give a bit more space into lower back. See what works for you. And then release your hands. Close your eyes. Drop into earth, dropping into this moment. And let your breath breathe you in its most natural way. Witnessing your inhalation and witnessing your exhalation. Noticing how every inhalation your body gently expands. Notice how with every exhalation, body gently contracts, or maybe it just softens. As we lie on our mat, we just soften into earth. Coming back to the idea that any tension we hold in the body is a translation, a manifestation of tension in our mind. Tension in our mind always being a separation from what is. As soon as we believe something should or could be different than it is, there's a tension. We contract. So let this Shavasana be a softening. And you might notice that as you give your body permission to soften, something within you softens as well. We bring our attention and awareness to what is still and spacious within. Shavasana to me is our asana of practicing being. What does it mean to simply be? It means to be wide awake, breathing, continuously coming back to presence. Presence. Flowing with breath and flowing with life. Being open to whatever might arise. And stay grounded with that space within you that is timeless and still and greater than any experience, any criticism, any sensation, emotion.
That space within you that is like the blue sky that can hold any weather. Whether there's a thunderstorm or just a little bit of rain, it still is held by an infinite, vast, untouched blue sky. Find that within you. And notice that that is who you are. You're not your stories, not your past, not your future, your opinions and your assumptions. Your presence, pure potential. Breathe yourself into that. Remember that essence within you. And take this with as you slowly come back into deepening your breath, as you might slowly come back into moving your physical body. Take that with. Don't leave it here. See if you can live each and every moment from this space. Find your way back up to seated. Simply be here. Keep your eyes closed. Gently. Keep your shoulders soft and your spine long. Allow your inner thighs to soften, sitting upright, sitting tall. Be still. Reconnect with that spaciousness, your inner blue sky. We bring our hands together, place our thumbs onto heart. We stay internally connected as we inhale to rise, and we exhale to gently bow as a gesture of thanking and acknowledging one another and ourselves. Have a beautiful weekend. Namaste. Thank you, you beautiful beings. Such an honor to have you, to journey with you. Thank you from the depth of my heart, and let this be an inspiration for your yoga practice for the rest of the day, your weekend, your life. You're beautiful. Shine it. Thank you.